Now I going to the present my topic. This is the how does a surgeon read CT scan? Actually, CT scan is a subject of radiologist, but in case of our surgeons like endoscopic surgeon and the face surgeon, we need to understand the CT scan. Otherwise, CT scan is your Google map. If you did not understand the CT scan, you will not operate in any way. But you can operate, but you will have to face many complications. So, as a surgeon, we need to understand how to read CT. But the today's presentation is totally anatomical presentation, not any disease. To see the each and every cell of the nose and paranasal sinuses. So, for a CT scan, we need to understand when we ask CT, what do you write? We should write CT scan of nose and PNS 1 mm cut or 0.6 mm cut. In earlier time, the CT scan was 2 to 3 mm cut. But if the 2 or 3 mm cut, then the cell may be missed. Very important information may be missed. So, if you ask CT scan, always write HRCT or CT scan nose and PNS 0.6 to 1 mm cut in multiplanar like axial, coronal and sagittal. Because coronal scan, you can read more of the structures, and some structures are better seen in axial or some are better seen in sagittal. So, first of all, I take my audience through the coronal CT. What is coronal? To just recapitulate. If you cut the nose, if you cut the slice from anterior to posterior like this, it will be the coronal. So now I describe the coronal CT. What is this? We go from anterior to posterior. So my first cut is the soft tissue over the frontal bone. This is soft tissue, and this is the nasal bone. Just glimpse of the nasal bone we can see, and this is the cartilaginous part of nasal septum. So my next cut, just I go 1 millimeter behind. That means the anterior to posterior. So what is this? You see here, the earlier cut was the soft tissue, but now you see the bones. What is this bone? The frontal bone is coming in my picture. And this is the nasal bone. When you read the CT, you should go for cut by cut, not jump. So I just proceed from 1 millimeter from anterior to posterior. So now I see here, what is this? This is the frontal sinus. Why it is frontal sinus? Because you see here, this is the beak. So it is frontal sinus. Why it is frontal sinus? As you see here the beak, this is the nasal bone, and this is the frontonasal processes. And you see here the bony part of the septum is coming in the picture. That is the perpendicular plate of the ethmoid bone, and some amount of deviation to the left, and nothing more is seen. And you see here there are 2 septa in between the sinus. So actually in sphenoidal one is complete septum and 2 or 3 or more incomplete septa. So it may be incomplete septa. So my next cut, you see here the earlier cut, this is 2 partition, right? But in 1 millimeter posterior, you see here this septa is digiaperi. That means it is incomplete. And you see here this same this is the nasal bone, this is the frontal sinus, and these 2 are frontonasal processes, and it is the maxillary crest. And there is no other sinuses appear in this film. So I go far posterior, so here you see this is a thick bone, right? This bone is nothing but the beak. You know the frontal sinus drain posteriorly, just enter posteriorly. So the next picture you see. Here you see the beak is disappearing. The thick bone is disappearing. Now, one thing, see here, this is a sinus appearing. It is maxillary sinus. Just glimpse of the maxillary sinus, not the true sinus. Just anterior part of the maxillary sinus, and you see here, what is this? The more anterior part, and it is the lacrimal bone. So here is a cell. It is the agar cell, not the bulla, because bulla will come far posterior. So the most anterior, when you see the maxillary sinus is just appearing, and one cell is in the lacrimal area, this is the agar the most anterior ethmoidal cell. You know, in sinuses, there are many cells, anterior cell, posterior ethmoidal cell, but some cell take their fancy name, like agar like suprapolar cell, like infraorbital cell, frontal cell, Onodi cell. These are nothing. These are the population of ethmoidal cell. When they migrate different area, they take the different name. Like when enteroethmoidal cell migrate and pneumatize the lacrimal bone, then it take the name aganesi. Aganesi is nothing. It is a population of enteroethmoidal cell. So you see here, this is the last part of the beak, and you see here for my next cut. You see here, this is the glimpse of middle turbinate. This is the glimpse of middle turbinate. You see this middle turbinate has got three parts. The first part, second part, third part. Now I see only the first part, and you know the first part lies in the sagittal plane. And you see here, this is the maxillary sinus, just anterior part, and it is this soft tissue is the inferior turbinate. So this is a aganesi. When we uncover, and you see here, and one more thing is appear here. This is the lacrimal duct. So if we go during the face surgery for my junior colleague, you see here we do the frontal sinus surgery and frontal recess. If you want to enter into the frontal sinus, you need to do the proper uncinectomy. Then you remove the aganesi. After removing the aganesi, you will uncover the frontal recess. So it is the frontal recess area. So why it is frontal recess? And another thing, you see here, this is a frontal sinus like thing, an extension. Is it frontal sinus? No, it is not frontal sinus. It is a supraorbital cell. When enteroethmoidal cell migrate through this orbital process, then it takes a name supraorbital cell. So it is also a enteroethmoidal cell. So it is also the aganesi, lacrimal duct, and this is the supraorbital cell. And you see here the middle turbinate, just first part is attached to the junction of a horizontal lamella and lateral lamella. Here is one thing you see here. This is the proper maxillary sinus. This is our proper maxillary sinus, and this is middle turbinate, but here middle turbinate is pneumatized. When middle turbinate is pneumatized, then it is called concha bullosa, and it is the inferior turbinate. And here you see this is a cell, but this cell is not like aganesi. Why it is not aganesi? Here you see it is more posterior cell. Why posterior? You see here one thing more, it is the uncinate. It is the uncinate process. So here this uncinate process, you know the uncinate process, it has three insertion. Like one is in the lamina papyracea most of the time, and sometimes it uncinate goes above and inserted into the skull base, and sometimes it attached into the middle turbinate. So, and this is the cristagalli. You see here, it is the cristagalli, and this is the our olfactory fossa. And here you see the beautiful lateral lamella and horizontal lamella. Anything more? One more cell is appear here. It is your infraorbital cell. So this cell is known as Haller cell. This is known as Haller cell. Earlier I told you, when this endothelial cell pneumatize the lacrimal bone, it is called Agarnese. When the lacrimal, the orbital bone, it is called supraorbital cell. When it pneumatize the infraorbital bone, it is called Haller cell. When it is pneumatize the middle turbinate, then it is called concha bullosa. So endothelial cell takes fancy name when they pneumatize different parts of the bone. Okay. So if I give this picture only, so just for identification, it is maxilla, it is, you see here, it is the bulla ethmodalis, this is supraorbital cell, this is cristagalli, and this is middle turbinate concha bullosa. So here I go more posterior, just cell by cell. Here, what you see here? You see here the middle turbinate. It is the middle turbinate, but middle turbinate is turning laterally. You see here, this is the middle turbinate turning laterally. You just correlate earlier. Okay. Here is the middle turbinate. Okay, it is the first part. But if go posterior, then you see here this middle turbinate is turning laterally. That means when middle turbinate turning laterally and it attaches or inserted in the lamina papyracea, it is called basal lamella. It is called basal lamella. When you see the basal lamella, you should be careful that you are in the most posterior part of the endothelium. You are the most last limit of the endothelium. And in this situation, you will see your orbit. In the orbit, you will see there is change. What change? This is the, you see here, this is the conical projection. It is known as the Kennedy nipple, and this canal leads to the endothelial artery. You know the endothelial artery in face surgeon, it is very important to understand the course of endothelial artery. Endothelial artery arises from the orbit. You see here, it is the superior rectus, it is inferior rectus, it is medial rectus, it is lateral rectus, and it is optic nerve. And you see here, it is the superior oblique. So, superior oblique and medial rectus, in between these there is a confluence or is a gap. Through this gap, the endothelial artery arises from the ophthalmic artery and it leaps the orbit through this Kennedy canal, open nipple or this canal, this, and it traverses different compartments like the roof of the ethmoid. So then it pierces the lateral lamella. It pierces the lateral lamella and it enters into the cranial cavity. And that after entering the cranial cavity, it runs anteriorly and meets a sulcus and gives anterior falcian artery. And it again leaps into the cranial cavity to the nose. Again come to the nose. So endothelial artery has got 4 compartments, right? Number 1 is orbit. Number 2 is the roof of the ethmoid, extracranial. It is also extracranial. Again, intracranial is olfactory fossa, and it comes again in the extracranial. And for my junior surgeons or those who want to do the face surgery, the tips here, the endothelial artery injury is a very dangerous complication, and it is, we are very much scared of the injury to this. So what is the tips? You know, endothelial artery is a 0.9 millimeter thickness artery, very thin artery. So if you injure the endothelial artery near the orbit, then it may retract into the orbit. You know, orbit is surrounded by a bone. So the orbit cannot accommodate even more than 5 to 7 mm blood. So if it retracts and enter into the orbit, that causes the paralysis or injury to the optic nerve and blindness. So should be careful. What is the tips? You don't work close to the orbit. If you injure, if you always try to keep your instrument in middle. Here is the middle turbinate, here is the your lamina papyracea. You should be keeping middle. If you injure this here, just it's very easy to cauterize, or if put a pack, it will stop. So I go next. What is this? This is my more posterior. So after the removing the basal lamella or ground lamella, I enter into the posterior ethmoid. You know, the enteroethmoidal cell is multiple in number, like 5, 7 or 10, 12. But posterior ethmoidal cell number is less, 3 to 4, but they are larger. And why it is posterior ethmoid? You see here, the orbital size is smaller. Earlier orbit is big. Here the maxilla become oval. And you see here, the third part of the middle turbinate is the middle turbinate, and you see earlier the first part, second part, and it is the third part. This is the third part of the middle turbinate. You know, third part is attaches into the perpendicular plate of the palatine bone. And you see here the roof of the ethmoid. This is thick. Earlier the roof is shallow. The roof is shallow and thin, but here the roof is thick. This thick roof is always indicate it is posterior ethmoidal roof. And you see here, this is the big 3 or 4 cell. So with this consideration, it is these cells are posterior ethmoidal cell. Why? This posterior cell, here it is the posterior ethmoidal roof. The maxillary sinus become oval, but I think I reach the most posterior part of the maxillary sinus, and the last part of the posterior, you know, the middle turbinate, third part of the middle turbinate is appearing, and you see here the glimpse of superior turbinate. This is the superior turbinate. So when we do the operation and the sinus work, like sphenoid sinus, তো সেই ক্ষেত্রে আমরা কি করি, যে স্ফেনার সাইনাসে ঢোকার জন্য আমাদের একটা লাইন টানে। দিস ইজ দ্য ম্যাক্সিলারি লাইন। দিস ম্যাক্সিলারি লাইন ইজ ইম্পর্টেন্ট ফর দ্য সার্জন টু এন্টার ইনটু দ্য sphenoid. What is that maxillary line? You see, this is your maxilla. This is your maxilla. This is the roof of the maxilla, okay? If I draw an imaginary line from the roof of the maxilla to the septum like this, just like this, okay? This line corresponds to the maxillary line. And the junction where the maxillary line meet with the septum, this area indicate that your sphenoidal opening is just that level or below, not above. Not above. So, in case of doing the find out the in life surgery situation to find out the our ostium of sphenoid, then we need to remove some part of superior turbinate and some part of posterior ethmoid. If you do this and you just follow the septum and you just let your elevator into the fall into the opening, so it is very easy to find out the maxillary sphenoid ostium. One thing here, it is see here, this is a pneumatization. This is called septal pneumatization. This is called septal pneumatization. And one of my resident can ask me, sir, why not it is sphenoid? Why not it is sphenoid sinus? It may be sphenoid, but sphenoid sinus যদি হয় সেই ক্ষেত্রে এই সেপ্টাম থাকবে না। এই দেখেন এখানে টোটাল সেপ্টাম ইজ হিয়ার, টোটাল ফুল সেপ্টাম ইজ হিয়ার, and you see inferior turbinate, middle turbinate and superior turbinate. So it is never ever sphenoid sinus. Hey. Now here it is sphenoid sinus. Why it is sphenoid sinus? You see here, this is the anterior clinoid process or lesser wing of the sphenoid, it is the greater wing of the sphenoid, and these are the processes. And here you see these are the intersphenoidal septum, and this is your proper sphenoidal sinus, and it is the rostrum, and this is the last part of the inferior turbinate, just last part of the inferior turbinate. So this is our inferior, this is our sphenoid sinus, and you see here there is a pneumodization here, or there is a gap. It is the optic nerve. The impression is optic nerve, and it is the another impression, shallow impression. It is correspond to the carotid artery, and in between optic and carotid there is a gap. It is not so prominent. Here is some prominent. It is called opticocarotid recess, and you see here there are two opening here. It is the V1, it is V2. It is Vidian canal and it is foramina rotundum. So sometimes this in between foramina rotundum and Vidian canal there may be sometimes pneumodization. Later on I will see you. So that's all about our coronal section. One thing I leave here. And now you know some structures are better seen in axial. But what is this structure? Like the nasopharynx. Nasopharynx is well seen through the axial cut. So you see here, this is the eustachian tube opening. It is the tubal elevation, and here is the fossa of the Rosenmoller. So if you want to see the nasopharynx, you look for axial cut. And orbit is also well seen in axial cut. You see this is the orbit, and this is your optic nerve, and you can compare both orbit in axial cut. And septum is well seen in axial cut. You see here there is a good amount of deviation to the right. And sometimes you need to understand the sagittal cut. So in sagittal cut you can see the full picture of this, all the sinuses here. Okay, so it is the Agarnase, it is middle turbinate, and you see this is the this is anterior cell, this is the sphenoid sinus. Okay. So now the Caros classification, some important issue. Already my friend told you the Caros classification. Caros classification is very important. You know what is this? Actually it is the depth of the olfactory fossa. তো এটা আমার জানার দরকার কি, যেটা বাবর স্যার যেটা বললেন যে টাইপ 1, টাইপ 2, টাইপ 3। টাইপ 3 মানে কি? টাইপ 3 মানে হচ্ছে যখন when the olfactory depth of the olfactory fossa is more than 7 cm, like 15 or 16 cm, it means that your olfactory brain is low down, and when you work open the frontal recess, that time what is your boundary? Your boundary is laterally lamina papyracea, medially middle turbinate. So if you understand before your operation that you have the Caros type 3, that means your olfactory fossa is very close to your operation, so it may injure, and there may be injury to the lateral lamella, and there is a chance of CSF leak. So it is not contraindicated. It is the very conscious operation, and it should be careful, then you will not injure it. So Caros less than 1 to 3 millimeter is type 1. It is very good. 2 is no problem, but when it is 3, then you should be careful when you work in the frontal recess area. Okay. Sometimes this cribriform plate may variable, not the same in both sides. So before operation, if you see here, see this is not the same plate. It is low down and it is up above, and here is this is the this is not variable. This is not same plate. So before operation, we should look for this cribriform plate. Most of the time we depend on the report of our radiologist, but as a surgeon you need to understand what is your limitation, what problem you have to face during operation. So endothelial artery, already I told you. Posterior artery, yes, this is the posterior artery. You see here, why it is posterior? You see this is a flatter roof, thicker roof, and orbit is smaller, and this is your maxillary sinus is oval, and so these are the posterior cell. So it is a posterior artery, and you understand. You should be keep in your mind, posterior artery. It is also the last limit of your posterior cell. What is cone cell? You know, when we would started operation, the frontal recess work. Frontal recess work. First we do the remove the agarnezy and we uncover the frontal recess. After removing the agarnezy, we do not find the frontal recess. Why? There are some more cell. The junior colleague, I request you to understand the unseen agarnezy. After removing the agarnezy, we find out, look for frontal recess leads to the frontal sinus. But sometimes we cannot find out the frontal recess or frontal sinus. Can you find it? ওইখানে কতগুলো সেল থাকে, ওই সেলগুলো সম্বন্ধে আমাকে প্রিভেলি বুঝতে হবে জিনিসটা কি। ওইগুলোকে বলা হয় ফ্রন্টো ইথময়েডাল সেল, ওদেরকে বলে ফ্রন্টো ইথময়েডাল সেল। এই ফ্রন্টো ইথময়েডাল সেলগুলোকে এই কোন ক্লাসিফাই করছে? টাইপ 1, টাইপ 2, টাইপ 3, টাইপ 4। সো আমি আগারনেজিকে সরালাম, তারপরে যদি আমার একটা সেল থাকে, ওয়ান মোর সেল ফ্রন্টাল সেল থাকে, আমি যদি ওইটা রিমুভ না করি, আই উইল নট নেভার এন্টার ইনটু দ্য ফ্রন্টাল সাইনাস। সো প্রি অপারেটিভ আমাকে জানতে হবে যে ইজ দেয়ার এনি ফ্রন্টাল সেল। সো ইফ ওয়ান সেল অ্যাবাভ দ্য agar, it is called type 1 frontal. If two or more cell above the agar but not reach the above the 50%, it is called type 2. And if the frontal cell reaches the frontal sinus, not the recess, it goes above the frontal recess and occupying the frontal sinus up to the 15%, 50%, it is called type 3. And sometimes যদি এরা পুরো ফ্রন্টাল সাইনাস উপরে চলে যায়, পুরোটাকে দখল করে নেয়, তখন থাকবে টাইপ 4। সো আমাদেরকে যদি এই ফ্রন্টাল সাইনাসের টাইপ 1, টাইপ 2, টাইপ 3 দিস এই 4 সেল যদি ইফ ইউ ডু আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড, তাহলে অপারেশন করতে গেলে আমাদের অনেক সময় আমরা উই ফল ইন এ ট্রাবল। সো দিস আর দ্য ফ্রন্টাল সেল and these are the frontobular cell, suprabular cell. These are the cone classification. It is easy to understand, but for the same understanding of radiologist as well as the surgeon, international classification is applied. It is in the year of 2018 or 16. And why it is adopted? Because it is more precise, as it is a position, and it is named after anterior, posterior and medial. So it is very easy communication, both surgeons and radiologists. But when we call the frontal type 1, frontal type 3, frontal 4, বুঝতে একটু অসুবিধা হয়। বাট আমরা যদি বলি যে এইভাবে বলি যে অ্যাগারনেজি, সুপ্রা আগার ফ্রন্টাল, তাহলে বুঝতে সুবিধা হয় যে ইট ইজ আগারের উপরে আছে, অ্যাগারনেজির উপরে আছে, আর একটু উপরে আছে, তাই না? তাই ইট ইজ ইজি আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ডিং ফর আওয়ার জুনিয়র্স। বাট আমি যদি বলি যে ফ্রন্টাল সেল টাইপ 4, তার মাথায় নাও ঢুকতে পারে। বাট আমি যদি বলি যে অ্যাগারনেজি তার উপরে সুপ্রা আগার, তার মানে সুপ্রা আগার ফ্রন্টাল মানে কি? মানে হলো এগারের উপর যদি থাকে, এটা হলো আপনার কি বলে টাইপ 1 ফ্রন্টাল, টাইপ 2 ফ্রন্টাল, আর যখন ফ্রন্টালের উপরে চলে যাবে তখন টাইপ 4। আনসেনেটেড ইনসারশনটা খুব ইম্পর্টেন্ট। যে নর্মাল যেটা আমরা টাইপ 1 আনসেনেট, অর্থাৎ যে 95% ক্ষেত্রে বা 90% ক্ষেত্রে আনসেনেট ইনসার্টেড ইনটু দ্য, এটা কি লেমিনা পেপ্রিসিয়া। সে যে আনসেনেট সব অল দ্য টাইম নট ইনসার্টেড ইন দ্য লেমিনা পেপ্রিসিয়া। Sometimes 4 or 5% time the uncinate may be inserted in the skull base or in the middle turbinate. That time it is very difficult for surgeons to do the proper uncinectomy. And if the insertion, not the classical, the abnormal insertion like 2 or 3, that time you may find out the coexistent frontal and maxillary sinusitis. That time you may not find the ethmoidal sinusitis. Okay. This is the frontal type 1. You see here, this is the cone. Aganese. It is aganese. একটা সেল উপরে আছে টাইপ 1 ফ্রন্টাল, যদি দুইটা সেল থাকে তাকে বলে টাইপ 2 ফ্রন্টাল। ওকে, ডিড ইউ ফলো মি? ওকে, তারপর হচ্ছে এই যে যখন এই অ্যাগানেজের উপরে মোর 2 or 3 সেল থাকবে, মোর দেন 2 or 3 সেল, এন্ড দ্যাট এন্টার্স দ্য ফ্রন্টাল সাইনাস আপ টু দ্য 50%, ইট ইজ কল্ড টাইপ 3। আর যখন দখল করে ফেলবে আমেরিকার মতো, এটা হবে কি টাইপ 4। এটা হবে কি টাইপ 4। ভেরি ডিফিকাল্ট। দ্যাট টাইম বাবর সাল লাগবে, তখন ইয়া করা লাগবে, বিগ কে ড্রিল করা লাগবে, করা যাবে, নট আনকমন। ওকে, এই যে বললাম না পোস্টেরিয়র সেল, একটু আগে যে বলছিলাম আমি যে অ্যান্টেরিয়র সেল, যেমন এগার, সুপ্রায়াগার ফ্রন্টাল, বাট এটা হলো পোস্টেরিয়র সেল। এই যে পোস্টেরিয়র সেল, এটা হলো ফ্রন্টোবোলার সেল। এটা সো নাও আই কাম টু দ্য স্ফেনয়েড সাইনাস। দিজ আর দ্য ট্রাইগার্স হিডেন। সি হেয়ার, এটা হচ্ছে B1, B2 এদিকে, এই যে B2, এটা হচ্ছে কি ক্যারোটিড। দেখেন আপনি ক্যারোটিড কিভাবে স্ফেনয়েড সাইনাসকে মানে কভার করে যায়। তারপর হচ্ছে অপটিক নার্ভ। ওকে, এই ছবিটা আমি পছন্দ করলাম কেন? টু আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড দ্য মাই এন্ডোস্কোপিক সাইনাস এন্ড স্ক্যালপেল সার্জনস, যে ইউ আর ওয়ার্কিং in your close contact with both the tigers like optic and carotid. Okay, so for doing the our sphenoid sinus work, you know the sphenoid sinus depth is around 17 millimeter. Okay, and the important is to do work the sphenoid sinus, the fear is to injure the optic nerve and carotid. Optic nerve and carotid. It is an optic nerve and it is carotid. So this optic nerve যখন এই স্ফেনয়েড সাইনাস দা রান করে, তখন তার কতগুলো সিচুয়েশন তৈরি হয়, অ্যাবনর্মাল সিচুয়েশন। এগুলো কি কি? এই অর্ডিনারি কি বলে, ডিলান্ডো এন্ড এটল, দে ক্লাসিফাইড দ্য রিলেশন অফ অপটিক নার্ভ উইথ দ্য স্ফেনয়েড ইন টাইপ 4. টাইপ 1 ইজ হোয়াট? জাস্ট নর্মাল টাইপ, জাস্ট স্ফেনয়েডের উপর থাকবে, কোনো ইমপ্রেশন ক্রিয়েট করবে না। সো টাইপ 1 ইজ ভেরি গুড ফর আস বিকজ অপটিক নার্ভ ইজ অ্যাবাভ দ্য স্ফেনয়েড সাইনাস। অ্যান্ড টাইপ 2 ইজ হোয়াট? টাইপ 2? টাইপ 2 ইজ হোয়েন দ্যার ইজ এ ডিপ্রেশন। যখন এটা ডিপ্রেশনে চলে যাবে, অর্থাৎ আমাদের স্ফেনয়েডের ভিতরে ঢুকবে। টাইপ 3 কি? যখন অপটিক নার্ভ আমাদের কি করবে, স্ফেনয়েড সাইনাস দিয়ে রান করবে, টাইপ 3। এন্ড টাইপ 4 যখন এটা পোস্টেরিয়র সেল এবং স্ফেনয়েড দিয়ে যাবে, তখন টাইপ 4। সো টাইপ 3 and type 4 is more dangerous for the surgeon. So you should be careful during sphenoid work. You have to understand the relation of optic nerve with the sphenoid. These are the 4 types of optic nerve with sphenoid. So what do you look for during surgery? The cribriform plate, the Keros, it is already done, and so this is the normal variation, like halar cell, infraorbital cell, concha bullosa. Paradoxical key, when the middle tabernet rotate medially, it is called paradoxical rotation. It is also produces some pathology. And this is the nasal septum deviation is a spar. So I want to share some experience. What is this? The ONOD cell. What is ONOD? আমরা এতক্ষণ যেগুলি বললাম, যে আমরা হেলার সেল, আগারনেজি, তারপরে কি সুপ্রাঅরবিটাল, ফ্রন্টাল, সুপ্রাপোলার, ফ্রন্টোপোলার, অল আর দ্য বংশধর অফ এন্ডোরিথমাটাল সেল। ওরা কাদের বংশধর? এন্ডোরিথমাটাল সেল। বাট ONOD is the origin from posterethmoid. So when the posterethmoidal cell occupying the area of the sphenoid, then it takes the name, fancy name, the onodi. When there is a onodi situation, you should keep in your mind, there may be a bone dehiscence. There may be bone dehiscence. If there is a dehiscence, then optic nerve or carotid may be dehiscent, and that time during sphenoid work, you may meet up with you may face some complications, injury to the optic nerve or injury to the carotid. So sphenoid, when you do the scalpel surgery, sometimes you try to do the pituitary work. When you do the pituitary work, you need to understand the sphenoid pneumatization. Already you told, when there is a consal variety. What is consal? When the sphenoidal pneumatization is less amount and there is a bone in between the sphenoid sinus and the sella. This good amount of bone. So before doing operation, if you see the CT, you need to do more bone work to enter into the sella. Okay? And when the precellar means when the pneumatization of the sphenoid sinus are very close to the sella. So if this type of pneumatization, it is far easier than this type. You need to less amount of bone to drill to enter into the pituitary. And the cellar means the pneumatization goes beyond the sella. So that time it is even not do any type of work. So you just enter into the sphenoid and you just enter the pituitary. So this is important. And I need one more slide, this last slide. So sphenoid pneumatization. You see here, sometimes this is sphenoid sinus and this is V1, this is V2, and here is some pneumatization. In between V1 and V2, the lateral process is pneumatized. This is called the lateral recess of the sphenoid, and it is the keratoconus optic recess. It is the optic nerve. It is the carotid. So when there is excessive pneumatization, like lateral recess of the sphenoid sinus or opticocarotid recess pneumatization, that time there may be thinning of the bone and you may find out the CSF leak in lateral recess of the sphenoid. So in this type of pneumatization, there is a very thin slice of bone and there may be dehiscence and you may find out the leak here. So sometimes the leak, CSF leak, is very difficult to identify. So you need to understand that sometimes there may be a lateral recess. So your CT should be you should understand your CT. You go to the CT and you try to understand, is there any lateral recess here. And already I told you the cellar, precellar. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, my audience, for giving me this opportunity to half an hour.